Welcome to this Assigning Test Settings in the Test Administrator interface for the initial LPAC demonstration video, sponsored by the California Department of Education. Students with specific learning needs may require accessibility resources to fully engage and demonstrate mastery of content during instruction and on assessments. To better serve them, there are a wide range of student test settings to ensure that the administration of the test meets the needs of all students, including those with disabilities. These student test settings can be set one by one or by batch file upload in the Test Operations Management System, or TOMS, prior to the administration of any assessments. Because the initial LPAC is administered to students upon enrollment in a California school, student needs may not yet be known. For this reason, test examiners will be able to assign designated supports through the Test Administrator interface on the day of testing. Since accommodations require an Individualized Education Plan, or IEP, these test settings can only be set in TOMS. Please note that the test settings assigned for the initial LPAC in the Test Administrator interface will override the test settings assigned in TOMS. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to assign student test settings in the Test Administrator interface. Let's begin by navigating to lpac.org and selecting the Test Administrator Interface for All Online Tests button. You will use your TOMS username and password to log on. Once done, select the Secure Logon button. Next, select the initial LPAC assessment you plan to administer. For this video, we will be administering the initial LPAC Grade 2 listening test. Select the checkbox next to the name of the test and then select the Start Session button. Once you have started a test session, your students should open the secure browser and log on using their first name, Statewide Student Identifier, or SSID, and the session ID you just created. The student will confirm the information displayed, select the appropriate assessment, and await your approval. Assigning test settings. Once the student has confirmed the information on the Is This You screen, you may view and assign test settings for the student. Once the student appears in your Approvals and Student Test Settings pop-up window, select the View icon to edit the student's test settings. Review the default test settings and assign any additional embedded or non-embedded test settings the student may need. You may hover over the question marks on the left side of the window to view a description of each test setting. An example of an embedded resource is the mouse pointer. If the student normally uses a large black mouse pointer, you would select to change the mouse pointer from the system default to large black. An example of a non-embedded resource would be the use of noise buffers, such as ear mufflers or white noise machines to help block external sounds. Once all test settings have been added and reviewed, select the Set and Approve button. At this time, the student would be prompted to complete a sound and video playback check. The test examiner and student will be given the opportunity to view the test settings by selecting the Test Settings button. Once the student is ready, the student may select Begin Tests Now. Test settings can also be assigned during the administration of the initial LPAC after students have already begun testing. If a test examiner notices that a student may benefit from an additional accessibility resource, such as a designated interface assistant, or if a student requests additional support, the test examiner may pause the existing test for the student and assign additional test settings. If the student is listening to any audio, they should first pause their audio and wait for further instruction. Test examiners should then select the Pause button in the Test Administrator interface. After you have selected the Pause button, your student will be logged out of the test. Your student should log back on to the secure browser using the student's first name, SSID, and the same session ID you created before. The student will again confirm the student's information, select the appropriate assessment, and await your approval. The student will reappear in your Approvals and Student Test Settings pop-up window. Select the View icon to edit the student's test settings. Once all test settings have been added and reviewed, select the Set and Approve button. Please note that test settings assigned in the Test Administrator interface will be available only for the initial LPAC domain that was administered to the student. Any test settings will need to be assigned again for all other domains if applicable. Thank you for watching this Assigning Test Settings in the Test Administrator interface for the initial LPAC demonstration video. If you have any questions, please contact your LEA LPAC coordinator or Site LPAC coordinator.